What's going on, guys? Kyle Bradshaw here, and welcome to episode 14 of Motoz Monday. Fourth gear. Fourth.
Dude, this 1190. Oh, wait. Well, the 1190 was winning until the ZX-10R got up into the high revs. Oh man, look at the colors changing. So fun.
Anyway, today we're talking about this guy right here, the Tractionator Dual Venture tire from Motoz. Dual Venture tire, what are my thoughts and feelings? Well, it gives great traction and great feedback and great bite going straight through the desert. I've had it in deep sand, I've had it in rocky rocks, I've had it just about everywhere. I was able to ride it in wet weather and it did really well.
What do we have going on here? Oh, upside down car. Holy macaroni.
I even had a chance to side hill it on a relatively loose type of terrain and it stuck relatively well. Now it's interesting, you take a look at this tire and you compare it to the TKC80 and then to the Motoz E10. There are some striking characteristics between those tires that I think you're going to notice. This tire's been pretty phenomenal. And then let's do this. Let's do a brand new TKC80 next to a used one, next to a brand new Dual Venture, sitting next to a used one. I think Motoz took some of their favorite features out of some of their favorite tires and kind of put them into a tire that I think might be your guys' next favorite tire if you're running a Motoz rear tire. Got this thing up to 152 miles an hour. It's super stable on the freeway. I've had it on rain grooves. I've had it in the rain. I've had it in some wet, moist weather. I wouldn't call it muddy, but it was wet desert terrain. And all those situations, this tire performed really well. This is the used one that I've been running for about 3,000 miles. About 2,000 miles one direction, and then I flipped it. I'm about ready to do a tire swap. So basically I'm gonna take this tire off the 950 and swap it over to the 1190. I'm going from a tube type setup over here to a tubeless type setup over there and ran it for about 1,000 miles in the reverse direction. I'll get to my thoughts and feelings on that here in just a second. Now the big difference I'm seeing between the TKC80 tread pattern and the Dual Venture is the fact that the TKC80 is thicker at the base and then it comes up to a skinnier block at the top, versus the Dual Venture is pretty much the same all the way down. So you can see the worn tire here is no different in shape than that of the brand new tire. Versus on the TKC80, the lugs here on the new tire are significantly smaller. The contact patch is smaller here, and then as the tire wears out, the lugs get bigger and fatter and more blocky. Another thing I noticed on this tire is side traction was actually pretty decent. The way these lugs actually have a flare out to them here on the side actually give it some pretty decent bite. I was surprised at how much bite I had when doing some side heeling. I was expecting it to actually slip sideways a little bit more than it did. But then if you take a look at the TKC80, it's kind of the profile that they've been running forever as well. There's not really that in-between lug that kind of helps bite and grip. And what I'm trying to say, or what I'm trying to articulate there, is like this tire right here, this Desert HT. You can see that instead of having a solid band that goes all the way across, we have alternating lugs here on the side so that you're not ever going to get a straight slip across. This tire definitely has better side bite than the Dual Venture tire, but it's also more loud and more obnoxious on the road and a bit bumpier when you come to a stop. And those are characteristics that I'm not finding at all out of the Dual Venture tire. It's the most mild riding tire other than the GPS tire in the Motoz lineup at the moment. I mean, it slates itself just in between the Adventure tire and the Rally tire, but I'm thinking this guy might be your guys' next favorite tire if you're running a Motoz rear tire. So on first look at the used tire versus the old tire, I can say that the edges on the new tire are definitely really square as compared to the worn one. We have rounded edges on all corners. Now, it's a little bit tough to tell on this one because I have switched it. So I ran one direction for about 2,000 miles, and that gave me a trailing edge that was worn down, similar to this guy over here, where the back sides of each of these tires were worn down a bit. I then flipped it. Now, this tire has been said that it is great that you can flip it because you can get double the mileage. But I ran into a situation. As soon as I flipped this tire, I no longer had that strong bite for the leading edge on my tire. Now basically what happened is I had this slope going up like this that was coming down and actually hitting the pavement. I actually felt that I had less braking traction and less actual traction when trying to maneuver and navigate through things once I did flip it. So if I were going to run the Dual Venture, which I am going to continue to run it, I'm going to run it with the strongest leading edge forward, and I'm just going to wear it until it gets worn out. I mean, this thing's getting a phenomenal mile. That's 3,000 miles already on that tire. This thing's going to go 8 or 10 or who knows how many miles. But yeah, I'm not going to be flipping this tire any time in the future. Now, as far as durometer readings on this go, the TKC 80 is a harder compound at about 69 on the durometer reader, whereas the Dual Venture tire comes in at about 67. As you can see here, the tread depth of the TKC 80 is just a little bit less than that of this Dual Venture tire. We're looking at 9.5 millimeters on the TKC 80 and 10 millimeters on the Dual Venture. And there you have it, guys. The Tractionator Dual Venture tire from Motoz. If you're not running a Motoz tire currently, or if you are, and don't like that little wiggle that you get, I think this tire might be your answer. If you have any questions about this tire, please leave a comment down below. If you are running the TKC 80 up front on a Motoz Rear currently, I'm really curious. Are you going to try the Dual Venture tire next time? Are you going to give it a shot? I'd like to know what you had to think. Anyway, I'm Kyle Bradshaw. Thank you guys for watching these videos. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please give the video a thumbs up. And as always, there's links to these tires down below. And if you could purchase these tires from Moto City, I'd really appreciate it. It helps out the business that helps support me and my family. So I really appreciate it. Hope to see you guys out there on the trail sometime soon. But until then, take care and ride safe out there.